It's episode 600. Woo! Can't even believe it. Thanks so much for sticking with me. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing this with your friends. We are on a mission to help others heal their relationship with food, one woman at a time. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a supporter of this show. It's been such an honor, and I can't wait for the next 600 episodes. Here we go. Today, I want to talk about hating your weight because all of us have done it, and it definitely needs to stop. Welcome to Confessions of a Binge Eater, a podcast helping women over 50 heal what's driving your urge to eat so you can finally feel in control around food and lose weight naturally without ever needing another diet that makes you feel like a failure. I'm Tricia Nelson, a former binge eater and your host. Now, I know this might sound a little strange coming from someone who helps women stop binge eating and lose weight naturally, but I want to talk about why you should never, ever hate your weight. Now, before you misunderstand me, I'm not saying you have to love your weight. I'm not saying you have to pretend you're happy with your body size if you're not. I'm not saying you shouldn't want to lose weight. What I am saying is that hating your weight comes at a tremendous cost. And for emotional eaters especially, it often creates the very problem we're trying to solve. I know this because I've spent years hating my weight. Years. I was constantly evaluating my body, criticizing my body, my butt, judging this, that, and the other, wishing my body were different. And the crazy thing is, when I look back at old photos now, I often think, what was I talking about? I looked fine. Have you ever had that experience? You find an old photo from years ago and think, wow, I looked pretty good. But at the time, you remember feeling fat. At that time, you felt unattractive and you were sure that losing weight was the answer to everything. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this episode, because there's something crazy about emotional eaters, besides the fact that we're often rendered completely at the mercy of a chocolate chip cookie. We also find ourselves wishing we were the weight we were at when we hated the weight we were at. Think about that for a minute. We wish we were the weight we were at when we hated the weight we were at. When we look back at photos, we feel wistful about the weight we used to be. Yet we also remember that when we were whatever weight we were when the photo was taken, we hated our bodies and wanted to be thinner. So when we look back, we think, wow, what the hell was I beefing about? I was pretty thin compared to how I am at this point. So let's talk about why hating your weight is so harmful. The first reason is that hating your weight keeps you in a state of war. When you're hating your weight, you're fighting yourself. You're fighting your body. You're looking in the mirror and immediately focusing on what's wrong. You wake up and your first thought is criticism. You put on clothes and your first thought is judgment. You catch a reflection in the mirror and your first thought is disappointment, if not self-hatred. It's exhausting and painful, and it's completely draining you because here's the thing. How can you care for something you're constantly attacking? How can you nurture something you're constantly criticizing? How can you heal your relationship with your body while treating it like the enemy? Of course, you can't. Healing happens through partnership, not warfare. Your body is not your enemy. Your body is the vehicle carrying you through this life. And when you're constantly attacking it, we are creating stress, tension, and resistance rather than healing. The second problem is that hating our weight creates conditional self-love. This is such a common trend. This is such a common trap. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I lose weight. I'll feel confident when I'm thinner. I'll love myself when I get down to my goal weight. I did it for years. And it's hogwash, right? We put conditions on our self-acceptance. We make our happiness dependent on a future version of ourselves. And what happens? We spend years postponing our joy. We spend years postponing our lives. Can you imagine telling a child, I'll love you when you get better grades? Of course not. Can you imagine telling a friend, I'll accept you once you improve yourself, or even once you're down to a certain weight? No. But we do it to ourselves every single day. We withhold love from ourselves, and then we wonder why we don't feel good about ourselves. The truth is that you deserve love right now, not 20 pounds from now, not 30 pounds from now, not after you've fixed yourself. You deserve it right now because your worth has never been dependent on your weight, ever. The third reason why hating your weight is so damaging is because it often backfires. As emotional eaters, we eat when we're stressed. We eat when we're lonely, we eat when we're sad, and we eat when we feel bad about ourselves, right? We eat to feel better in the moment. So what happens when we're constantly criticizing our bodies? We create emotional pain, and emotional pain creates the urge to eat and run from our feelings. The cycle looks like this. I hate my weight, I feel ashamed, I feel defeated, and I turn to food to feel better. And then I gain weight. Now I hate my weight even more. Many women secretly believe that if they're hard enough on themselves, they'll finally change. If they shame themselves enough, they'll become disciplined. How has that worked? Criticizing ourselves doesn't get us motivated. Have you noticed? But after working with thousands of women, I've found that the opposite is actually true. Shame doesn't create lasting transformation. Shame creates suffering, and suffering drives emotional eating. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about is what I call fathead. No, that's not a clinical term, but it is my term. It's in my book, and it's real. For years, I had what I call fathead. I was obsessed with my body. Obsessed. I thought about my weight constantly. I evaluated myself constantly. I even did a podcast on it recently. It's what contributes to food noise. And when I look back now, I realize there were many times when I wasn't really as overweight as I thought I was. My perception was distorted. I couldn't see myself clearly. The clinical term is body dysmorphia. I was looking through a lens of insecurity and obsession. And here's what's so sad about it. When we're obsessing about our bodies, we're missing our lives. We're missing opportunities to feel joy. We're missing moments that matter. And we're spending precious years focused on our perceived flaws instead of appreciating who we are. It's almost comical when you think about it. And yet it's heartbreaking too, isn't it? Because it means we're never here. We're never present. We're never appreciating ourselves. We're always focused on some future version of us, or we're looking backwards and wishing we had appreciated what we had at that time. Here's a perspective that has helped me tremendously. Your body has carried you through everything, through heartbreak, through loss, through disappointment, through raising a family, through taking care of family members, through stress, illness, grief, every challenge you've ever faced. Your body has shown up every day. Your heart has kept beating, your lungs have kept breathing, your legs have carried you, your hands have served you, your body has done so much. And yet many of us spend our days constantly criticizing our bodies. What if instead of asking what's wrong with my body, we asked, what has my body done for me? What if we shifted from criticism to gratitude? What if we acknowledged how hard our bodies have worked on our behalf? Now, I want to be clear about something. There is a difference between not liking your weight and hating yourself. It's perfectly okay to want to lose weight. It's perfectly okay to want more energy and to want better health. I want you to want those things. It's okay to have goals. What's not helpful is turning those goals into self-hatred. You can say, I'd like to lose weight. I'd like to be in a thinner body without saying, I'm disgusting. You can say, I'd like to feel healthier without saying, I'm a failure. You can want change without rejecting yourself. Ooh, I hope you take this in. You can pursue improvement without declaring war on yourself. There is a difference, and that's really the point of this episode. Acceptance is not resignation. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. Acceptance doesn't mean settling. Acceptance simply means acknowledging where you are today without attacking yourself for it. It means saying, this is my body today. This is my reality today. I don't have to love every aspect of it, but I refuse to hate myself because of it. Because when we stop fighting reality, we free up enormous energy. Energy for healing, energy for growth, energy for self-care, energy for real change. Ironically, acceptance often creates the conditions for effective weight loss more than self-hatred ever could. So if there's one thing I hope you take away from this episode, it's this: don't spend today's body wishing for tomorrow's body, only to spend 10 years from now wishing you still had today's body. Appreciate yourself now. You don't have to love your weight. You don't have to pretend you're happy with it, but don't hate it. And not only that, do your best to remember to be grateful for it. Gratitude is so activating. When you interrupt the pattern of self-criticism and start cultivating moments of gratitude and appreciation, you support your body. You get on the same team with your body. Your energy is aligned with positivity and love. And you're creating a relationship with your body that has a chance at peace. This is the kind of relationship you want no matter what your weight, because this is a relationship you'll have for the rest of your life. If you make this shift, you can look back at photos from various times in your life when you remember feeling so self-critical and think, why was I so hard on myself? And then you can remember to be grateful today so that 10 years from now, you remember how much love you had for yourself. So don't wait to start appreciating your body. You don't need to be a certain number on the scale. Just get grateful. Be supportive of the body that's carried you through so much. Treat yourself with the kindness you deserve today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, take the free quiz on my website, healyourhunger.com. Find out if you're an emotional eater or a food addict and get a personalized score that will give you direct actions you can take today to start making changes in how you feel about your weight. I'll see you on the next show. If you're ready to get off the dieting roller coaster ride and finally make peace with food and with your body, talk to a Heal Your Hunger mentor about what steps you need to take based on your own history with food and weight. Go to healyourhunger.com and register for an emotional eating breakthrough session and see how fast you can experience real change. It's a complimentary evaluation, but there are limited spots available. So go to healyourhunger.com and register to speak with a mentor today.